Have you ever stopped and wondered if your home has a soul? I mean, really thought about it? According to some pretty profound Kabbalistic wisdom, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. So today, we're going to unlock the mystical blueprint that's hidden within the very walls we live in. We're going to completely transform how we see our homes, from just a simple building into a living, breathing, spiritual sanctuary. Let's get started.
This is really the big question we're diving into, isn't it? The ancient sources we're looking at today, they basically say our homes are not just these passive backdrops for our lives. Not at all. They're actually active, dynamic vessels that can be filled with either this incredible, profound holiness or, and this might be surprising, a very real, tangible negativity.
All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to move through 5 key stages. First, we'll decode the Hebrew word for house itself. And trust me, it's mind-blowing. Then we'll get into the spiritual sticks, what's really on the line. After that, we'll look at the tools we have to fortify our space and how we can actually invite a sacred presence inside. And finally, we'll uncover who the ultimate architect of this sacred space really is. It might not be who you think.
So, to kick things off, we have to go right back to the source code, back to the very word for house in Hebrew. Because it's not just a label, it's literally a blueprint. It contains the secret of its own purpose right there in the letters.
Okay, so the word is beit. On the surface, yeah, it just means house. Simple enough. But in Kabbalah, every single letter tells a story. Each one reveals this deeper architecture that's hidden in plain sight. So let's break it down.
So check this out. The Tikkunei Zohar just completely deconstructs the word beit into these 3 essential layers. The first letter, bet, stands for binyan. That's the physical building, the bricks and mortar. The next letter, yud, is for yesod, which means foundation, but we're talking about the spiritual foundation. And the last letter, tav, symbolizes tiferet, the divine beauty, the glory, the harmony that's meant to fill the space. So the word itself is telling us a house is supposed to be a physical structure built on a spiritual foundation designed to be filled with divine harmony. Wow.
Now, this idea of a home being filled with holiness, well, it naturally leads to its opposite, right? If a space can become sacred, it means it can also be corrupted. And the texts are crystal clear that the intention behind why it was created makes all the difference in the world.
This quote from the Zohar, it doesn't pull any punches. It says if a house is built with an intention other than creating a sacred space, let's say it's built purely for vanity or just for greed, it actually invites what the text calls an impure spirit. You see, in Kabbalah, your intention isn't just a fleeting thought. It's a creative force. It literally attracts a specific kind of spiritual energy. The builder's mindset sets the entire frequency of the home from day one.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Our homes are being presented here as active spiritual battlegrounds. They are not neutral spaces. They are constantly being shaped and defined by our actions, by our words, by our intentions, becoming either a sanctuary that truly nurtures our soul or a place that, on some subtle level, just drains it.
Okay, so if the home is a fortress, how do we protect its gates? How do we defend it? Well, the tradition provides this incredibly powerful spiritual technology designed for this exact purpose, the mezuzah.
Now, for anyone who might not be familiar, a mezuzah is this small case, and inside is a tiny parchment scroll with specific verses from the Torah, all handwritten by a scribe. And it's placed on the doorposts of the home, literally standing guard at every entrance and exit.
And here's where it gets really, really cool. The Zohar Chadash points out this incredible secret hidden in the word itself. The Hebrew letters for mezuzot, which is the plural form, they can be rearranged to spell zaz mavet. And what does that mean? It means death moves away. So it's seen as this literal shield, this protective force field that you place right at the threshold of your home. Amazing, right?
So it's not just about defense, not just about keeping negative things out. Kabbalah also teaches that we can actively invite a sacred presence into our homes. And this happens in a very special, very powerful way every single week, through the preparations for Shabbat, the Sabbath.
According to the Zohar Chadash, the preparations are super specific and very intentional. It's not just cleaning up. It's about lighting a candle to bring both physical and spiritual light into the home. It's setting a beautiful table as if you're expecting royalty. And it's preparing the beds to create this deep atmosphere of peace and tranquility.
So why do all this? Who is this royal guest we're getting ready for?
Well, the source material reveals that we are preparing the home to receive a bride, or a queen, and that queen is Shabbat itself. It's this divine, feminine presence that descends into the world and into our homes once a week.
So through these simple, conscious acts,
Lighting a candle, setting a table, the home undergoes this complete metamorphosis. It's no longer just a house. For that 25-hour period, it's transformed into a temporary palace, a royal chamber that's been made ready to host a sacred and beautiful presence. It's a home fulfilling its highest potential as a living spiritual vessel.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this entire puzzle. We've talked about the house as a physical structure, a spiritual vessel. But who is actually responsible for building it? Who's the architect? The Zohar Chadash brings up this famous verse from the book of Proverbs. Now, on the surface, you read it, and it sounds like it's about the woman of the house, right? But mystically, it's talking about something much, much deeper, something that's inside every single one of us.
You see, the text explains that the wise woman is actually a metaphor for our neshama, our higher divine soul. That's the part of us that builds our true home with wisdom and connection to the divine. The foolish one, on the other hand, represents the nefesh behemoth, which is often called the animal soul. This is the part of us driven by ego, instinct, and our base desires. And that's the force within us that can, with its own hands, tear down the spiritual structure we're meant to create.
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. The state of our physical home, whether it feels like a sanctuary or a battleground, is a direct mirror of our inner state. Just think about it for a second. A home filled with fighting and selfishness has a tangible feeling, doesn't it? And it's totally different from a home filled with kindness and support. The Zohar is saying this isn't just psychology, it's a spiritual reality. We are the true architects. By building up our inner spiritual life, we automatically, and maybe even unknowingly, build and fortify our outer physical home.
So as we wrap this up, the question really isn't just about architecture or interior design. It's about soulcraft. It's about building from the inside out. So let me leave you with this. What is the one small intentional act you can do this week? Maybe it's lighting a candle, or offering a kind word when it's hard, or just holding a conscious positive thought. What's that one thing you can do to build a little more sanctuary into your own sacred space?